The sterile beep of the heart monitor pierced the fog in my skull like a goddamn ice pick, yanking me from the void. My eyelids fluttered open to a blur of white walls and fluorescent glare. But what slammed into me harder than the headache was the face hovering inches away. Adam freaking Hargrove. His hazel eyes locked on mine, brimming with tears that made no sense. "Christian," he whispered, voice cracking like cheap glass. "You're back. God, you're finally back to me." I tried to bolt upright, but my body betrayed me, limbs heavy as lead, strapped down by tubes and regret. The ring on my finger caught the light, a thick gold band that screamed permanence, and that's when the world tilted. Engraved inside, our initials intertwined, C and A, forever. Adam, the golden boy who'd made my college years a living hell, was clutching my hand like it was his lifeline. And in that split second, I realized the nightmare wasn't over. It had just rewritten itself into something infinitely worse. The room smelled like antiseptic and faded roses, the kind that wilted too fast under fluorescent lights. Seattle General, 5th floor, neurology wing. Fragments of memory pieced themselves together like a jigsaw puzzle soaked in rain. Last thing I remembered was the screech of tires on wet pavement, the flash of headlights from that delivery truck barreling through the intersection on a stormy October night. Rain-slicked streets, my shift at the coffee shop dragging into oblivion, and then nothing. Blackness. A void that swallowed 4 years, apparently because the calendar on the wall screamed 2025. And the man beside me, Jesus, Adam, was wearing a wedding band that matched mine. "Water," I croaked, throat raw as sandpaper. He jolted like I'd slapped him, fumbling for the pitcher on the tray table. His hands trembled as he poured, steadying the plastic cup against my lips. Cool relief slid down, but it did nothing for the firestorm in my chest. "Easy, babe," he murmured, thumb brushing my knuckles. Babe. The word landed like a sucker punch. In college, he called me faggot behind my back, or worse, to my face during those frat house parties where the air reeked of cheap beer and unchecked egos. Adam Hargrove, quarterback legend, homecoming king, the straight-A straight guy who'd led the charge in outing me sophomore year. One drunken hookup in the dorm showers, my stupid, hopeful mistake, and boom, whispers turned to shouts. My RA knocking on my door with concerned eyes and a stack of pamphlets for alternative counseling. I transferred schools by junior year, burying the humiliation under layers of denial and distance. Seattle was supposed to be my fresh start, far from Ann Arbor's ghosts. But here he was, mid-30s now, lines etched around those hazel eyes that used to mock me, his once golden hair threaded with silver at the temples. Still built like he owned the gym, broad shoulders straining against a faded Huskies hoodie. University of Michigan, of all things. The irony burned. "What the hell is going on?" I rasped, pulling my hand away. The monitors spiked, a nurse bustling in like clockwork, checking vitals with efficient nods. Coma duration, 4 years, 2 months. "Welcome back, Mr. Reyes. We'll run more scans tomorrow, Mr. Reyes." Not Christian alone anymore. My gaze flicked to the door, where a cluster of balloons bobbed, pink and blue. "It's a boy," scrawled in glitter. No, wait. Those were get well balloons, tangled with a happy anniversary mylar heart. Anniversary, my stomach churned. Adam's face crumpled, but he forced a smile, the kind that didn't reach his eyes. "You were in an accident, Chris. Hit and run." The doctors said. They said it was touch and go for months. But you fought. Like you always do. He reached for me again, and I flinched. His hand froze mid-air. I'm sorry. I know this is a lot. A lot, I echoed, voice gaining strength, edged with venom. Try explaining why you're in my hospital room acting like we're. I trailed off, the ring glinting accusingly. The word tasted like ash. He exhaled, sinking into the vinyl chair beside the bed, elbows on knees, head bowed. We got married. 3 years ago, last spring, in the garden at Gasworks Park. You wore that linen suit, the one with the blue pocket square. Remember? The cherry blossoms were just starting to drop petals like confetti. Married. To him. The room spun, for pole rattling as I gripped the sheets. Flashes hit me, not memories, but echoes. Laughter in a sun-dappled park. His hand on my lower back during a slow dance to some indie folk tune. A kiss under fireworks on the 4th, tasting of salt and sparkler smoke. But they blurred with the hate. His smirk in the lecture hall, the way he'd shoulder-check me in the quad, muttering watch it, queer just loud enough for his bros to snicker. Get out, I said, quiet but steel. The nurse glanced up, but Adam just nodded, slow, like he'd been expecting it. I'll be right outside. With the doctors. We need to talk about rehab. Your PT schedule. He stood, hesitating at the door, silhouetted against the hallway's harsh light. I love you, Christian. That's never changed. The door clicked shut, and I let the sob rip free, muffled into the pillow. Love? From the guy who'd shattered me? Fate wasn't just cruel. It was a sadist with a twisted sense of humor. Hours blurred into a haze of tests and consultations. MRI whirs, blood draws, a neurologist's clipped assurances. Amnesia is common post-coma. It'll come back in pieces. But the pieces I had felt like shrapnel. By evening, a social worker wheeled in a laptop, pulling up files like exhibits in a trial. Your husband filled out your advance directive, she said softly. He was your healthcare proxy. Made all the decisions. Husband. There it was again, a title that fit like a noose. She clicked through photos, candid shots from what looked like a commitment ceremony. Me, thinner but smiling, arm around Adam as we cut a cake shaped like the Space Needle. Friends clapping, a rainbow flag draped over the archway. Seattle's queer scene in full bloom. Drag queens toasting with champagne flutes, a string quartet playing at last. And there, in the background, a face I recognized, my old roommate from Michigan, Javier, grinning like he'd forgiven the world. Did I forgive? The question gnawed as the social worker left, promising a therapist tomorrow. Adam returned at dusk, bearing takeout from that hole-in-the-wall Thai place on Capitol Hill, Pad CEW, extra lime, my supposed favorite. He didn't push, just unpacked it on the rolling tray, the steam curling up like ghosts. Eat, he said, settling in with his own container. You always said hospital food tasted like regret. I picked at the noodles, the flavors exploding, comforting, familiar. How? I finally asked, fork midway to my mouth. How did this happen? Us. He set his down, gaze distant, like he was replaying a reel only he could see. After college, I fucked up, Chris. Bad. Came out my senior year, right after you left. The team turned on me. Hell, my own dad disowned me for a decade. I bounced around, coaching Pee-wee football in Ohio, bartending in Chicago, trying to outrun the guilt. Then, 5 years ago, I moved here for a job at Boeing Logistics. Nothing glamorous. Ran into you at a Pride block party on Broadway. You were volunteering, handing out water bottles, looking like you'd conquered the world. I could picture it. The thump of bass from food trucks, glitter-streaked faces under string lights. Me, post-grad, scraping by as a barista, but alive, unapologetic. Gay and proud in a city that didn't give a damn. You froze when you saw me, he continued, a wry smile tugging his lips. Told me to fuck off, loud enough for half the street to hear. But later, at the after-party in that dive bar Pike Place? No, the Crescent Lounge, you were 3 whiskeys in, and we talked. Really talked. About the shower, the rumors, how I'd been a scared, closeted asshole hiding behind hate. The memory flickered. Dim lights, vinyl booths sticky with spills, his apology spilling out between shots. Raw, unfiltered. I'd laughed, bitter at first, then something shifted, a crack in the armor. And I forgave you? My voice was small, disbelieving. Not right away. Took months. Coffee dates that turned into hikes in the Olympics. Rainy afternoons binging old rom-coms in your cramped Belltown apartment. You made me work for it, Chris. Earn every inch. His eyes met mine. Soft now. Vulnerable. By the accident, I was gone for you. Head over heels. The kind of love that rewrites your DNA. The tray trembled as I pushed it away, the weight of it all crashing down. Forgiven, loved, felt like a lie, a coma-induced fever dream. But the ring was real, heavy on my finger. I don't remember any of it, I admitted, hating the plea in my tone. It's like, you're a stranger wearing my husband's face. Adam nodded, swallowing hard. Then we'll make new memories. Starting tonight. He pulled a deck of cards from his jacket, Uno, battered and creased. You always kicked my ass at this. Loser does the dishes. A ghost of a laugh escaped me, surprising us both. We played until the nurse shooed him out, colors slapping down in a rhythm that felt almost normal. But as the lights dimmed and sleep tugged at the edges, doubt coiled tight. What if the old hate was still there, festering under the amnesia? What if this twist of fate was just the setup for the cruelest punchline? Discharge came a week later, a whirlwind of paperwork and a shiny new scooter for the uneven sidewalks of Queen and Hill. Our home, or his, now ours, was a craftsman bungalow tucked into a slope overlooking Puget Sound, the kind of place that screamed, adulting achieved. Exposed brick, reclaimed wood floors, a kitchen island scarred from too many wine-fueled charcuterie boards. Photos lined the mantel, us at Olympic National Park, mud-splattered and kissing under a fern canopy, Christmas in pajamas by a twinkling tree, my head on his shoulder at a Mariners game, both of us cheering a rare home run. It was domestic bliss frozen in pixels, but stepping inside felt like trespassing. Adam hovered, unpacking my hospital bag with military precision, while I sank onto the leather couch, the city skyline glittering through floor-to-ceiling windows like a promise I couldn't trust. Therapy starts Monday, he said, handing me a mug of chamomile, another favorite, apparently. And PT Tuesdays. I've got the schedule color-coded on the fridge. I sipped, the steam warming my face. You planned everything. Someone had to. No bitterness, just fact. He sat beside me, not touching, giving space like I was a skittish alley cat. Look, Chris, If you need time, I need truth. I cut in, setting the mug down hard. All of it. The accident. Why I was out that night. His jaw tightened, a flicker of something dark crossing his face. Guilt? You were picking up my dry cleaning. I'd worked late, forgot to grab it. Storm was bad. Roads were a mess. The cops said the driver was drunk, fled the scene. Never caught. Dry cleaning. For him. A mundane errand that stole 4 years. Rage bubbled, irrational but fierce. So this is your fault. Adam didn't flinch. Every damn day, I wake up thinking that. That's why I fought the doctors on pulling life support. Why I sat by your bed reading you those dumb sci-fi novels you love. Whispering promises like some fool in a movie. He leaned forward, elbows on knees again. That familiar posture. But blaming me won't bring back the time. Only moving forward might. Forward. The word hung between us, heavy as the fog rolling in off the sound. That night, he took the guest room without a word, leaving me to prowl the house like a thief in my own life. Drawers yielded clues. Match towels monogrammed CNA. A shared Netflix queue heavy on queer indies and true crime docs. His razor beside mine in the bathroom. Intimate. Invasive. Sleep evaded me, chased by dreams that weren't dreams. Snatches of arguments. His laughter echoing in a sunlit kitchen. The press of his body against mine in the dark. Waking tangled in sheets that smelled of him. Cedar and citrus. I touched the empty side of the bed, wondering if the man I'd hated could become the one I needed. Weeks bled into a routine. Mornings with black coffee on the porch swing. Watching fairies slice the water. Afternoons at the community center. Relearning to walk without the world tilting. Adam was there, steady as the tide, driving me to sessions, cheering small victories like I was crossing a finish line. But cracks showed. A flinch when he reached for my hand in the car. A silence at dinner when he'd recount our inside jokes, met with my blank stare. One evening, post-PT, muscles screaming, we collapsed on the couch for pizza and bad TV. Some cop procedural droned, but my mind wandered to the box under the bed. His idea, for when you're ready, letters, he'd said. Ones I'd written him during the early days, when hate thawed to something tender. Read me one, I said impulsively, the words out before fear could snag them. Adam's eyes widened, but he fetched the box, selecting a creased envelope postmarked 3 years back. His voice was gravel as he unfolded it. Adam, tonight, under the harvest moon at Discovery Park, you kissed me like the world was ending. And maybe it was, for the boy I used to be. You see me, scars and all, and for the first time, I don't feel broken. Don't let go. Yours, Chris. The paper shook in his grip. You wrote that after our first real date. Hiked the loop trail, got lost in the woods. Ended up stargazing till dawn. Tears pricked, unbidden. Not from the words, but the ache they unearthed, a love lost to the void. I took the letter, tracing my own scrawl. I was happy. With me. Not a question. A plea. I met his gaze, the room shrinking to just us. I think. I want to be again. He bridged the gap slow, giving me outs at every inch, until his lips brushed mine soft, tentative, a question. I answered, pulling him closer, the kiss deepening like a key turning in a long-locked door. Heat bloomed, familiar yet new, his hands mapping my back as if relearning every ridge. We broke apart breathless, foreheads pressed, the TV forgotten. But as he whispered, "I missed you," into my neck, a shadow lingered. The past wasn't buried. It was waiting, claws out, for the moment I'd remember why I'd hated him so fiercely. Fall deepened in Seattle, leaves turning the streets to fire, crimson maples carpeting the sidewalks like spilled secrets. My body mended faster than my mind, scars fading to silver threads on my knee from the crash. But the amnesia clung like damp wool. Fragments surfaced in dreams. Adam's laugh during a ferry ride to Bainbridge, wind whipping our scarves. His quiet sobs at my bedside, reading aloud from Dune until his voice gave out. Yet woven through were thorns, the college echo, his sneer in the frat house basement, the betrayal that had chased me west. Therapy helped unpack it. Dr. Elena's office, a cozy nook in Fremont with throw pillows and a troll sculpture peeking through the window. "Trauma doesn't vanish with time," she'd say, her voice like warm gravel. "It evolves. Yours and his, it's a shared scar tissue now." Adam joined sessions when I asked, perching on the edge of the love seat, hands clasped to keep from fidgeting. We dissected the hate. How his closeted fear had weaponized into cruelty, outing me to deflect his own whispers. "I was drowning," he admitted once, eyes on the floor. "And I dragged you under to breathe." Forgiveness wasn't linear. It zigzagged. Some days, I'd wake tangled in his arms, the night before a blur of takeout and tangled sheets, slow, exploratory sex that rebuilt trust inch by inch. His touch was reverent, mapping the changes in my body, the slight atrophy from disuse. "Beautiful," he'd murmur against my collarbone, and for moments, I believed him. Others, rage flared unbidden. Like the night we hosted Javier and his husband for dinner, my old roommate, now a tech whiz in Bellevue, his easy grin a bridge to the before. Over salmon and Sauvignon Blanc, stories flowed, college pranks, that infamous snowstorm sophomore year when we'd hotboxed the dorm lounge with bad weed. "You two were oil and water back then," Javier teased, clinking glasses. Adam here was the straight-laced jock, always busting us for the parties. "Remember when he ratted out that kegger, Chris?" Cops showed. Whole house scattered like roaches. The room chilled. Adam's fork paused midair, color draining from his face. I remembered the flashing lights, the humiliation as we hid in the laundry room, my heart pounding not just from the bust, but from the stolen glance I'd thrown his way earlier, hopeful and stupid. "Yeah," I said, voice tight. "I remember." Javier backpedaled, sensing the shift, but the damage lingered. After they left, dishes piled in the sink. I confronted him in the kitchen, hip against the counter, arms crossed. "You didn't just rat us out. You told them about me, whispered to the cops I was the one buying the booze, underage and shady. Made it sound like I was the problem." Adam deflated, leaning against the fridge. I was covering my ass. Coach had me on thin ice. One more infraction. Scholarship gone. It was selfish, Chris. All of it. Selfish. The word exploded. It was betrayal. You knew I was struggling. Family back home barely speaking to me after I came out. And you hung me out to dry. Tears burned, hot and furious. I swiped them away, hating the weakness. "How can I trust you now? What if this," I gestured wildly between us, "is just more selfishness? You playing the devoted husband because you feel guilty." He crossed the tiles in 2 strides, gripping my shoulders. Not hard, but firm. "Guilt got me in the door. Love kept me there. His voice broke, hazel eyes searching mine. Every decision, the vigils, the lawyers pushing for that hit-and-run bastard. The way I rearranged my life around beeps and hope, that wasn't penance. It was you, Christian. The man who saw past the asshole and loved the wreckage underneath. I shoved him back, chest heaving. I don't remember loving you, the slap of my words echoed. He stepped away, hands raised in surrender. Then don't. Crash on the couch. File for annulment. Whatever gets you through. But don't doubt this. I'd burn it all down before hurting you again. He stormed out to the porch, door slamming like a period. I slid to the floor, knees to chest, the cool tile grounding me. Minutes stretched, then his shadow fell across the doorway. I'm sorry, he said softly, crouching down. For then. For now. If I'm pushing too hard. I looked up, his face a map of regret. Lines I traced in passion now etched in pain. Stay, I whispered. Just stay. We ended up on the living room rug, backs against the couch, a bottle of bourbon between us. He talked, really talked, about the years apart, the parade of one-night stands in dive bars, chasing validation in bodies that meant nothing, the therapy that cracked him open, forcing him to face the bully he'd been. Coming out saved me, he said, swirling amber liquid. But losing you the first time? That was the real coma. I leaned my head on his shoulder, the weight familiar. Tell me about the wedding. His arm slipped around me, pulling me close. Intimate. 50 people. Tops. You insisted on DIY handmade invites with pressed lavender from the Pike Place stalls. Vows under that willow tree, the sound lapping like applause. You cried when I promised to cherish the boy you were and the man you'll become. The image bloomed, vivid as a recovered memory. Cherry blossoms drifting like snow, his hand in mine, steady and sure. Did I mean it? I asked, voice muffled against his shirt. Every word. He tilted my chin up, kissing me slow, bourbon sweet. Heat kindled, but this time it was laced with something deeper, vulnerability, the raw edge of rebuilding. We made love there on the floor, clothes shed in a trail like breadcrumbs, his body a landscape I was relearning. Urgent yet gentle, whispers of I see you against my skin. Afterward, spent and tangled, he held me as rain pattered the windows, a lullaby for the storm inside. But peace was fleeting. The next week brought the letter, forwarded from an old P.O. box, yellowed envelope stamped an arbor. No return address, but the handwriting screamed familiarity. My father's, sharp and unyielding. Christian, heard about the accident from Javier. Prayers for your recovery. If you're reading this, call home. We've got room if you need it. No judgments. Dad, no mention of Adam. No son-in-law, just the old olive branch, brittle as ever. My parents, Catholic holdouts in suburban Detroit, had thawed post coming out, awkward brunches and love the sinner cards. But marriage to a man, that was uncharted. I showed Adam over breakfast, pancakes cooling on plates. He scanned it, jaw set. Call if you want. I'll back whatever you say. But doubt crept in. What if home meant escape? A reset without the baggage of a husband I barely knew? The call came that afternoon, porch swing creaking under me. Dad's voice, gruff but warm, kiddo. Sound strong. We talked surface stuff first. Weather in Michigan, Mom's garden. Then, that Hargrove boy. Javier mentioned. You're hitched. Yeah, I braced. 3 years now. Silence. Thick as fog. He's the one from college? The football kid. The same. No sugarcoating. Another beat. Well, water under the bridge, I guess. You happy? The question gutted me. Trying to be, he chuckled. Lo, that's all we get. Come visit sometime. Bring him. We'll grill. Hanging up. Relief mixed with unease. Acceptance. But conditional? Adam found me there, eyes red-rimmed, and pulled me into a hug without questions. Proud of you, he murmured. That night, we drove to Alki Beach, boardwalk alive with joggers and buskers strumming covers of Fleetwood Mac. We walked hand in hand, salt air sharp, the Olympics a jagged silhouette against sunset. Remember our first beach date? He asked, toes digging into sand. Tell me, pizza on the pier, you spilling sauce on your shirt, laughing till it hurt. Then we danced badly to some street performer's guitar. You said, this is what normal feels like. I squeezed his hand. It does. But as stars pricked the sky, a call shattered it. Javier. Voice urgent. Chris. You sitting down? Found something online. About the accident. My blood iced. What? Forum post. Anonymous. Claims the hit-and-run driver was Adam's ex. Some guy from Chicago, unhinged after their breakup. Cops buried it to protect the family name. Boeing execs. Connections. The world narrowed to the phone's glow. Betrayal. Fresh and vicious. Adam, beside me, oblivious, tossing pebbles into the waves. Had he known? Covered it up? The hate I'd buried roared back, claws out. Waves crashed like accusations as I pocketed the phone. Javier's words looping. Ex. Unhinged. Buried. Adam turned. Grin fading at my expression. Thundercloud over calm sea. Chris? What's wrong? I thrust the phone at him. Screenshot glaring. Read it. His face drained to ash as he scrolled. The forum thread a cesspool of speculation. Usernames like TruthSeeker206 posting grainy dashcam stills, timestamps matching the crash. Drunk driver, plates traced to a Lincoln from Illinois. X of AH, Boeing hotshot. Payoff to hush it? Jesus, he breathed, sinking onto the sand. I didn't, Chris. Swear to God. You knew. It wasn't a question. Certainty coiled in my gut, cold and unyielding. Your ex. The one who followed you west. Cal. Right? The bartender from Wicker Park. Adam's head snapped up, eyes wide. How? Memories. It's coming back. You mentioned him once. In therapy. Toxic. But I stayed too long. Said he showed up here 6 months before the accident. Drunk and desperate. The pieces slotted. Kyle's texts I'd glimpsed on Adam's phone pre-coma, pleading for another chance. Jealousy sharp as broken glass. He buried his face in hands, shoulders shaking. He called that night, ranting about us, how I'd ruined him. I told him to back off. Hung up. Next thing, cops at the door, your accident, hit and run. Plates matched his rental. But the investigation stalled. My boss pulled strings. Boeing didn't want scandal. I pushed for charges. Chris wrote statements. Met detectives weekly. Lies. I paced the tittle line. Foam licking my sneakers. You protected him. Your precious career over justice for me. No! He surged up, grabbing my arm. I protected us. The payout went to your care, experimental treatments, the best neurosurgeons. Kyle's in prison now, serving 5 for vehicular. But the optics. Boeing leaned, and I caved. Because I was terrified of losing everything, including you waking up to a bankrupt husband fighting a media circus. The confession hung, a noose tightening. You decided for me. Again. Like college, when your secrets became my shame. That's not fair. His voice cracked, pleading. I've spent 4 years atoning, vigils with your name on signs, therapy groups for survivors' spouses. This, he jabbed the phone. It's coincidence, not conspiracy. I wrenched free, storming toward the parking lot, Olympic mountains mocking in the rear view. Coincidence? Fate's twist. My ass. It's just you, Adam. Always you, pulling strings. He caught up at the car, keys jangling. Drive. We'll go home. Talk. Home. I whirled, chest heaving. This isn't home. It's a stage set for your redemption arc. The ride back was silence, city lights streaking like tears. I bolted inside, locking the bedroom door, his knocks fading to quiet please then nothing. Sleep came fitful, dreams a mashup, college taunts morphing to hospital beeps, Kyle's shadow looming with headlights blazing. Morning brought clarity and Javier, banging on the door at 8 a.m., coffee in hand, face etched with worry. Drove through the night. Tell me everything. We huddled in the kitchen. Adam banished to the garage for space. Javier's take. Forums are bullshit half the time, but the plates check out. Talked to a PI buddy. Says the cover-up was real. Boeing's fingerprints all over. But Adam? He lawyered up against them. Sued internally for interference. Won a settlement. Funneled it to your rehab fund. Doubt cracked, but not enough. Why hide it? Fear. Guy's human. Chris. Loves you stupid, saw it at the wedding. The way he looked at you like you hung the moon. I rubbed temples. Headache blooming. What if the love's tainted? Built on my erasure. Javier gripped my shoulder. Then fight for the truth. Together. Adam reemerged at noon. Eyes bloodshot, offering a folder dog-eared police reports, emails time-stamped with pleas to prosecutors. All of it, he said, sliding it across the island. Kyle confessed. Said he tailed you from the shop. Rage blackout behind the wheel. I visited him once. In county begged for details, anything to speed the case. He laughed. Called me pathetic for loving a used-up queer. The word landed like a slap. College ghosts rising. I scanned the pages. Evidence piling. Adam's affidavits. His testimony pushing for max sentence. No cover-up on his end. Just a man drowning in bureaucracy. Choices carved from desperation. I'm sorry, he whispered, voice threadbare. For not telling you sooner. Thought it'd hurt more than help. It does. I closed the folder, heart fracturing. But running won't fix it. We called DR. Elena for an emergency session. The 3 of us crammed in her office like suspects in a lineup. She mediated, peeling back layers. Adam's guilt as a shield, my amnesia amplifying old wounds. Betrayal isn't a monolith, she said. It's choices. Own them, then choose again. By session's end. A fragile truce. Full disclosure. No more secrets. That night, we burned the folder in the backyard fire pit. Flames devouring paper. Kyle's ghost curling to ash. Adam's hand found mine across the sparks. Tentative. I choose you. Every time, the kiss that followed was fierce, reclaiming, teeth and tongues, a battle won in breaths. We tumbled inside, urgency stripping layers, his body a map of apologies pressed into mine. "Forgive me," he gasped against my throat, and I did, whispering back, trying, but the climax brewed elsewhere. 2 weeks later, a subpoena arrived, Boeing countersuit, Adam named for defamation in his internal whistleblowing. The settlement at risk, our savings tanking. Reporters sniffed around. A local blog post outing the XX queer hubby Coma drama. Privacy shattered. Hate mail trickling. Slurs scrawled on our driveway. Freak show in red Sharpie. Adam spiraled. Nights pacing the kitchen. Whiskey his companion. "Can't lose this," he'd mutter. "Not when you're finally back." I watched him fray, the devoted husband cracking under pressure. One storm-lashed evening, post-rain, I found him on the porch, soaked and staring at the sound. "What if I walk?" I asked, joining him, rain dripping from eaves. He turned, wrecked. "I'd let you." "Deserve it." "No." I cupped his face, thumbs tracing jaw. "We fight." Together. The high point hit at the deposition, sterile conference room downtown. Lawyers circling like sharks. Adam testified, voice steady. Details of the cover-up, Boeing's hush money, Kyle's confession. I sat beside him, hand under the table on his knee, anchor in the storm. The judge ruled in our favor weeks later. Settlement intact, Boeing slapped with fines. Victory tasted bittersweet. Justice delayed, but ours. We celebrated quiet. Rooftop bar in Belltown. City sprawl at our feet. To twists, Adam toasted, glasses clinking. To us, the word felt earned. Yet in quiet moments, I wondered, was this redemption, or just survival? The hate I'd carried, it hadn't vanished. It had transformed, alchemized into something fiercer. Love, maybe, or the ghost of it. Winter gripped Seattle like a jealous lover. Gray skies bleeding into longer nights. Holiday lights strung along the waterfront like defiant stars. Our life settled into a rhythm. Adam back at Boeing but remote. Me easing into freelance graphic design from the home office. Pixels a canvas for the memories I rebuilt. Dates dotted the calendar. Therapy check-ins. Hikes in Discovery Park where we'd first kissed post-college. A vow renewal whispered over New Year's champagne. But undercurrents pulled. My memories returned in waves. Title, unpredictable. Waking from a nap. The full force of our wedding crashing back. The willow's shade. His vows trembling with emotion. My ring sliding onto his finger amid cheers. Joy, pure and piercing. Followed by the crash night. Exhaustion from a double shift. Adam's text, "Miss you. Hurry home." The downpour turning streets to mirrors. And Kyle. Flashes of confrontation. Adam shielding me from his ex's doorstep meltdown months prior. "He's not worth it," I'd soothe then, pulling him away. Trust. Hard one. Yet the betrayal's echo lingered. A low hum. Javier noticed during a guy's night at the local brewpub. Frothy IPAs loosening tongues. "You two look solid," he said. Clinking bottles. "But you're holding back. Like you're waiting for the other shoe." I shrugged. Foam mustache from the stout. Amnesia leaves gaps. "What if I wake up one day and the love's gone?" He leaned in, serious. "Then you build it new. That's marriage. Man, not fireworks, but the slow burn." His words stuck. fueling a plan. Valentine's approached, and I plotted. A surprise weekend in the San Juans, ferry to Friday Harbor, cabin with a view of Orcas-slicing fjords. No phones, just us recommitting, gaps be damned. Packing was covert, Adam at a late meeting. I unearthed the box again, letters a time capsule. One, undated but fervent. Adam, in the quiet after storms, you're my north. Don't let the past capsize us. Tucked it in my bag, heart pounding. But fate, that trickster, intervened. En route to the terminal, traffic snarled, protest downtown, climate activists blocking Pike. We idled, radio droning news, Boeing layoffs, whispers of internal scandals. Adam tensed, knuckles white on the wheel. They'll come for me next. Won't happen. I squeezed his thigh. We're past that. The ferry docked late. Salt wind whipping as we boarded. Orcas gliding sleek. Cabin was rustic charm. Stone fireplace. Quilt-draped king bed. Deck overlooking the strait. We arrived dusk. Unpacking wine and charcuterie. Fire crackling. To fresh starts, I toasted. Glasses of Cabernet Ruby in firelight. His smile warmed. Always. Dinner led to dancing, slow sway to Coltrane on the Bluetooth speaker. His chin on my crown. Remember our first dance? He murmured. Gasworks. Cherry blossoms falling like grace. I do now. The memory bloomed full. Petals in my hair. His arms a haven. I pulled back, searching his face. All of it. The wedding, the fights, the way you held me through nightmares. Eyes glistened. You're back. Not all the way. Honesty. Sharp. The hate. Is there? Faint. But the love's louder. We made love deliberate. Firelit shadows playing, exploring, affirming. His whispers, mine, and mine, yours. Dawn found us entwined. Orcas breaching distant. Pod call echoing like benediction. But climax brewed back home. Returning Sunday. Voicemail blinking DR. Elena. Urgent. Christian. Call back. Potential breakthrough. Session revealed it. Scans showed neural pathways firing. But a shadow PTSD echo from the crash. Manifesting as dissociated rage. Common in long-term coma, she explained. Triggers could resurface old traumas. Like college. Adam absorbed it, nodding. We'll manage. But the trigger hit midweek. Innocuous. Email from Michigan. Alumni newsletter. Photo attachment. Reunion shot. Frat brothers grinning. Adam front and center. Arm around a teammate. Caption. Hargrove. Still MVP. Innocent. But it ignited. Flashback. That basement party. Adam's voice slurring faggot as he shoved me toward the door. Crowd jeering. Pain. Visceral, bruised ribs from the fall. Spirit cracked wider. I confronted him in the living room. Newsletter printout crumpled in fist. This. You. How do I forget when it's everywhere? He paled. Chris. No. Rage crested. Wave breaking. You outed me to save your skin, then played victim when karma bit. Now this husband act, but underneath, same coward. Words flew. Shrapnel. My accusations of manipulation, his defenses crumbling to sobs. I hate who I was. Every day. I fight to be better. For you. Better. I laughed. Hollow. You buried the crash truth to protect your life. What if I died? Would you mourn or move on? He staggered, as if struck. I'd have followed. No life without you. The room spun, my vision blurring, not amnesia, but tears. I collapsed onto the couch, head in hands. I can't. I need space. He nodded, broken. Guest room. As long as you need. Days blurred, him tiptoeing. Meals silent. I dove into work. Designs for queer nonprofits. Rainbow flags stylized as phoenixes. Rebirth motifs. Javier checked in. Mom called with recipes. Dad's gruff, hang tough. One night, insomnia drove me to the garage, Adam's sanctuary. Weights and a punching bag scarred from fury. There, a hidden nook, shoebox of mementos. Polaroids from our early dates. Ticket stubs to Brokeback re-release. A sonogram? No, ultrasound printout. Dated pre-accident. Wait. Heart stuttered. Not ours. Surrogate consult? Note scribbled. Talk to Chris about family. Kids? Family. The word unlocked a flood. Pre-crash talks. Curled on this couch. Dreaming of adoption. A nursery painted blue. Laughter over names. Miles for a boy. Echoing jazz roots. Love. Expansive. I found him in the kitchen at dawn. Coffee brewing. The box, I said, holding the printout. We wanted this. His eyes lit. Cautious. Talked about it. You were all in. A little us. Making the world less shitty. Why didn't you say? Fear. After everything. Thought it'd push you away. I stepped close. Bridging the gap. It pulls me in. We're messy. Adam. Betrayals. Comas. All of it. But we're choosing every damn day. He crushed me to him. Kissed desperate. Then deepening to promise. Choose me. Always. The climax wasn't explosion. But implosion, walls tumbling. Hearts sinking. We burned the newsletter that night. Ashes to the wind. Spring hinted. Crocuses pushing through soil. Renewal. Spring unfurled in Seattle like a hesitant confession. Tulips rioting in the university district. Cherry blossoms dusting Fremont like powdered sugar. Our rhythm steadied. Therapy a weekly sacrament. Peeling back scars until they gleamed like abalone. Adam's countersuit wrapped. Bowing settling quietly. He took a lateral move. Less stress. More us time. I landed a gig designing Pride merch for the city. Bold graphics screaming visibility. My signature woven in. Memories solidified. A mosaic. The crash's chaos resolving to acceptance. Kyle's shadow shrinking to footnote. But humanism bloomed in the small. Volunteering at the LGBTQ Center. Mentoring 20-somethings navigating their own comas of doubt. Hate's a phase. I tell them. Adam's hand warm in mine during group shares. Love's the rewrite. Summer hummed in. Solstice sun lingering past 10. We escaped to the Olympics again. Cabin at Lake Crescent. Canoe rented for lazy paddles. Loons calling across mist. Evenings by the fire. S'mores sticky. Stories swapped. His coaching days in Ohio. Lonely. My barista hustles. Stealing sketches on napkins. One twilight. Or stilled. We floated. Water lapping hull. Regret anything? I asked. Head on his shoulder. He pondered. Finger tracing my ring. Not fighting harder for you in college. But the rest? This life? No. Even the coma? Especially. Showed me what's irreplaceable. Kiss soft. Water rippled. Back home. The talk resurfaced. Family. We pored over adoption sites. Profiles of kids waiting. a 4-year-old boy with curls and wary eyes, foster history a litany of moves. Miles, we agreed, his name a nod to dreams deferred. Paperwork piled, home visits probed, social worker nodding at our mantel photos, the guest room prepped as nursery. Doubts nipped, my gaps, his past but resolve hardened. We're enough, Adam said, painting walls sky blue, me taping off edges, laughter echoing. The match came fall, court date in October, leaves gold outside the Tacoma courthouse. Miles, wide-eyed in ill-fitting jeans, clutched a stuffed orca we'd sent. Boat people? He lisped, eyeing us. Family, I corrected gently, kneeling. Adam beside, steady. Weeks blurred to bonding. Park picnics. Bedtime goodnight moon. His giggles thawing our edges. Holidays amplified. Thanksgiving with my parents. Dad carving turkey awkward but earnest. Mom cooing over pie. Christmas. Tree strung with queer icons. Ellen bobbleheads. Rainbow ornaments. But humanism's core tested us anew. New Year's. Miles down with flu. Adam burning midnight toast while I read The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Fever broke at dawn. His small hand in mine. Stay. Always, we chorused. Challenges wove in. Nightmares for Miles. Echoes of loss. My phantom aches. Coma ghosts. Adam's therapy dives into fatherhood fears. Legacy of his dad's rejection. We leaned couples yoga on Sundays. Family hikes where Miles collected treasures. Sticks. Stones. A feather he dubbed magic. One June dawn. 3rd anniversary. I woke him with coffee and a letter new. Penned fresh. Adam. 3 years wed. A lifetime twisted. From hate to this Coma forged. Unbreakable. You're my plot twist. The man who taught me grace. To Miles. To us. Forever. Love. Chris. He read. Tears salting. Pulling me atop. Best sequel ever. Miles burst in. 6 now. Pouncing with Lego forts. Build castle. We did. Blocks tumbling. Laughter fortressing. Years layered. Miles's first day school. Backpack sagging. Adam's promotion. Celebrating with clam chowder at Elliott Bay. My gallery show. Queer portraits hung proud. His arm around me at opening. Conflict resurfaced mild. A college reunion invite. An arbor ghosts calling. We went. Hand in hand. Frat house now sober co-op. Old bros graying. Apologies slurred over craft beer. Grew up late, one said, clapping Adam's back. Forgiveness. Collective. Tragedy brushed. Grandma's passing. Mom's quiet grief, but we held. Humanism in the holding, eulogy shared. Tears communal. By Miles's 10th birthday, backyard bash with water balloons and cake. I watched Adam chase our son. Soaked and joyful. The twist, not shocking anymore. Fate's gift, earned. Evening, stars pricking. Miles Abed, we swayed on the porch, old habit. Happy, he murmured. Utterly, kiss lingering. Sound whispering approval. Once in a coma, now a family, the shocking twist? It was always leading here. To grace. To us.